Hi Helen, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is your new Bernina record. And this is the final test before we pack her up to ship her out to you. And in this test we're going to go over the basic operation of the machine, how to work the various controls, and how to wind the bobbin and thread the machine, of course. So without further ado, your bobbin is behind this little door here. There's a latch on the side of the bobbin here. And if you hold that latch, you can pull your bobbin case out, and as long as you're holding the latch, your bobbin's not going to drop out. When you let go of the latch, you can drop your bobbin into your hand there. We're going to wind the bobbin. So put your spool on the spool pin, go around the tension device here in a clockwise direction so the thread goes back over itself and back to the bobbin winder. Put your thread through one of the I don't usually wind over existing thread on a bobbin, but this is just a demonstration, and I'm going to take the thread back off when I get done. Put a few wraps on the bobbin just to hold the thread in place while the bobbin winds. Then put the bobbin on the bobbin winder with the thread going on over the back. Push the little actuator forward into the bobbin. Take up that little bit of slack there. Declutch your machine by turning the knob in the center of the hand wheel a quarter turn or so until you feel it hit its stop. Then give it a little gas, and I'll make sure that's working out before I send it out. But that's how you wind the bobbin. Reclutch your machine by tightening the knob in the center of the hand wheel. Move the actuator back out of the bobbin. Lift your bobbin off the bobbin winder, and with the thread coming off the top of the bobbin in this direction, drop your bobbin into the bobbin case. Direct the thread into that little slanted slot on the side and up under this flat leaf spring, which is your lower tension. Then you'll feel a little bit of drag on your thread. Holding that little lever out, and with this little finger pointing up, make sure you push it all the way onto the spindle in the center of the hook down here. Put your spool on the spool pin on the back here. Go into the big thread guide on the back of the machine, and through this slot across the top of the machine, down under the big thread guide at the bottom, up and into the take-up lever, which of course is a little thingy that goes up and down when you're sewing. Back down into this thread guide down here, then through your needle from the front to the back. And I always cut a fresh end on my thread to make it easier to put through the eye of the needle. Then, holding your needle thread loosely, turn the hand wheel towards you one full revolution. The needle will take the thread down, where the hook will pick it up and wrap it around the bobbin and bring up your lower thread. And there's the lower thread. Fabric under the pressure foot, and we're ready to sew. We're going to start by sewing a straight stitch. So you want to be on your top setting here. You see that this lever here has 20 different positions for the different stitch patterns that are available. We're going to put it all the way down on 0 for straight stitch and zigzag. And this lever over here, you have straight stitch and zigzag in this position, or if you want to do any of the other fancy stitches, move that over to the 1 through 20 position. So we're going to go on this straight stitch and zigzag. Down here is your stitch length. So we're going to go about, we'll go to about 1.5 there on stitch length, and stitch width, this knob up here is going to be 0. This is your stitch length, this is your stitch width, this is the fine adjuster, this is your buttonhole setting for the different positions of the buttonhole. We'll get to that later. So with our stitch length on about 1.5, stitch width on 0, so there's no zigzag, we're going to do a straight stitch. You can go slow, you can go fast, doesn't matter. We're going to add a little bit of stitch width now. I'm just going to take it all the way up to the widest stitch width, which is 4. Okay. Now we're going to pick a different stitch pattern. Make sure your needle is up out of the fabric so you don't bend your needle when the moves. And I'm just going to select a pattern here at random. We're going to do number 8, which is some weird pyramid-y looking thing.
Wait.
Probably got a name.
You gotta do that.
Switch this lever up to the 1 through 20 position. Let's see, we're going to move the stitch width down to about 2, and the stitch length, we're going to make it a real close stitch length. So I'm going to take it up to this heavy mark just below the 0, which is kind of the satin stitch setting. There we go. Now you can see it making kind of a rhythm stitch. We'll pick one more stitch pattern just for fun. Let's go up to 15. Ooh, no, I like 16. That's cool looking. All right, here we go. Similar to the other one, similar but different. I'm going to pick one that's more obviously different. Let's do number 5, which is like a blind stitch. Looks like we need more stitch length. Take it down to 2, stitch width. I'm going to take it back up to 4, and turn my fabric around. Here we go. Make a real nice looking blind stitch. This is your thread tension, and this little window down here shows you, that's your indicator. I'm going to set right in the middle on even tension. And okay, this down here is your feed drop. If you want to do darning or free motion sewing, you turn this knob over to the grid pattern, and that drops the teeth of the feed dog so they don't move the fabric, so you're able to move the fabric around yourself. That's about it. Oh, buttonholes. Let's do a buttonhole just for fun. Let's see. Setting 1 is going to do the first side of the buttonhole, and it automatically set itself for the correct stitch width. And of course you're going to want to mark your buttonhole first so you know when to stop, but we're just going to go for a while. And we're going to go to 2 on the buttonhole device, and that's going to make your bar at the bottom. Then we're going to go to 3. And you're going to go in reverse up the other side. And then 4 is your top bar. And I guess 5 is just a, so you can give it a stitch or two to lock it in place. And that's it. That's how you do buttonholes. So I think that's about it. If you have any other questions, give us a call. You're going to want to oil her every 8 hours or so of sewing. If you sew a couple hours a day, after 4 days, you're going to want to oil. If you sew 8 hours in one day, you probably want to oil before you start the next day. If it sits in the cupboard for a while and you don't use her, say 3 months or more, go through and put a drop of oil in each place, just because the oil does dry up after a while. That's about it. I'll get her packed up to ship out to you. And again, sorry for the wild video here, trying to do this one-handed, but that's kind of where I'm at the moment. I hope my finger wasn't in the way too often. That's it. Thanks again, Helen. Bye-bye.